Hello, this is Tim Lawwood, Playing It Forward Coaching, always encouraging your self-reliance. If you'll go the extra mile, develop a marketable skill, develop some people and communication skills, you'll be amazed at what you can accomplish in this country. Speaking of work ethic, I've got my good friend Phong Dang here. This young man is he could be the poster board child for work ethic. He is amazing. I've always been impressed with him since we met maybe a dozen years or so ago. So Fong, welcome and tell us about your story.
Hey, Tim. Thanks for letting me come and speak with you. I work for an operator who has now 47 restaurants located in central Pennsylvania. We recently picked a couple up in Delaware, so we're a multi-state organization. I started with McDonald's, now almost 23 years ago under a different owner operator. I was just 14. And I started at McDonald's because my sister was a manager. I had a paper route, and my brother, who is actually my identical twin brother, got a job at that location as well. And he was making more money than I was just doing a paper route. So I decided that I wanted to make more money. And so I started there just part-time in high school. And as I grew with McDonald's over the next few years, I realized that the ability to make more money was significant if I did the best work I possibly could.
Mhm.
But I also really enjoyed the interaction with the guest every day, and that still rings true today. And it's probably one of my most favorite things about working at McDonald's is that every day is different. You certainly meet a lot of people, and you make lifelong friends. And that's probably one of the most rewarding things about working there. But as I grew up in high school, I worked a lot, and I enjoyed the challenge of taking on new challenges. And I developed a leadership about me. I was promoted to a crew trainer, which is essentially just somebody who brings in new employees and trains them on how to do the job that we do.
Mhm.
And then beyond that, I became a shift leader who just basically runs shifts in the restaurant. And then as I got to the end of my high school career, I really didn't know what I wanted to do. And when I tell the story, I never tell anybody that college is, I never tell anybody not to go to college. But what I've learned is that college is sometimes just not for everybody.
Sure.
Whether it's financials or it's, just it's something else. At the time, my parents were putting others through college, and I didn't want to burden them with other financial things. So I decided that I enjoyed what I did, and that I enjoyed leading people. And I was offered an assistant manager's positions after I graduated high school, and it to me it was more of a career move. And because I didn't know what else I wanted to do, I felt like this was the right step for me.
Mhm.
Once I spent a couple of years as an assistant manager, and I think that was I think I spent about 3 years as an assistant manager, and about 3 years later, I had an opportunity to take over a store as a general manager.
Mhm.
And throughout those 3 years as an assistant manager, and then becoming a general manager, again, I still I loved what I did. The challenges were there, and now I now my new challenge is I am solely responsible for a multi-million-dollar business, and I really enjoyed the pressure. I enjoyed the challenge, and I think the most the most rewarding thing again here is you're dealing with people. You have the challenge to mold other people. You can you lead them in such a way that makes them successful or not, and that to me was rewarding. I wanted to see other people succeed based on what I was able to do in the restaurant for them. And so I spent about 5 years as a general manager, and one of the things I always tell people is most everything I have in my life, I really it's a result of what I do, yes, but I really am passionate about what I do, and I tell people, I'm proud to work at McDonald's, and I owe a lot to McDonald's, and yes, I know it was because of what I did, but they provided the opportunity for me to do what I do. I was able to go on many trips because of McDonald's. I was able to see different places in the world because of McDonald's. So I just have a passion for what I do, and hopefully that shows in what I do every day. And then as I grew with McDonald's, I had an opportunity to take over some restaurants over the next couple of years that had a lot of opportunity, and that was probably my most challenging couple of years. They were very opportunistic, and we were able to take those restaurants and turn them around. One
What
of
would
the
you say,
restaurants.
Phong, what would you say as far as, and I always, I'm loving the story. I always refer back to, young people, teens and young adults. If you could give them particular advice, they don't necessarily have to shadow your entire pathway or whatever, but let's say for people coming in, and if it's okay with you, we'll put your contact information on here as well.
Sure. Yes.
For people to reach out to you, because I think you're a phenomenal role model, and I'll put it right near the top. What
Sure.
what advice would you give, young people? Because again, the great thing about doing some of the work you've done is it creates a work ethic, it creates people skills, and there's a lot of benefits. So what would your advice be to them?
My advice to them would be find something that you like, find something that you enjoy, because if you don't enjoy what you do, it's going to be harder for you to do what you do. If you're young, especially, you have time to figure that out. And I think that's probably the best advice I would give. And I think just find something that you really love to do, and really commit to it. If you find that you are in a position, or you find something that you like, commit to it, and hopefully that answers the question.
Sure. Well, and you hit what I believe is one of the most important things for anybody is their willingness to go above and beyond, go the extra mile. And
Sure.
there's just so many people that they just settle for doing the minimal or whatever. Well, you can't attract the attention of somebody if you're not willing to go the extra mile, have that solid work ethic. You're going to get opportunities, especially now with this post-COVID thing, because we've seen so much almost enforced laziness from the standpoint that people don't even want to go out and even look for a job or whatever, because they got used to just hanging out for a couple of years, which is devastating, because this country's $30 trillion in debt. And the idea that gravy train is running out real quick. And people have to, especially young people, have to, come awaken to that. And so anyway, as far as your future is concerned, Phong, where do you see yourself? Oh, let's say in the next 2, 3, 5 years.
So it is ironic and funny that you asked that question. I am a McDonald's person through and through, as they say. I have, and probably will always have, ketchup running through my veins. But I think one of the things, and if I could just put in a plug for McDonald's,
Absolutely, absolutely.
um, I think McDonald's is one of the best places for a young person to at least start,
Sure.
and to be able to see if if the opportunity is there. For me, it was. For others, it may not.
Mhm.
But one of the things I wanted to mention was that McDonald's has a great um, program for students who are looking to go to college,
Mhm.
and they have the opportunity, just by being an employee, McDonald's will help you go to school. So if it's not for McDonald's, that's fine. Um, but they have a program called Archways to Opportunity, and as just being an employee for McDonald's, they give you free money to go to college.
Mhm.
And I only say that to say that I have spent the last 23 years with McDonald's, and just in the last year, I had decided to get a bachelor's degree in psychology. So I started that journey probably in December, um, and I'm working through that now. I'm hoping that I think by 2026 I'll have that degree,
Mhm.
um, and my plan is to maybe do some counseling for students. But if I decide not to do that, um, I'll always have McDonald's to fall back on. But the thing I want to mention is that McDonald's is paying for that degree 100%.
Mhm.
And as I said before, never had the chance to go to college. Um, and now McDonald's is offering that opportunity for me to go. So I guess to your initial question, I'm not really sure. 3 to 5 years, I'd love. I mean, I am going to continue to work for McDonald's. I always had the vision to become an operator.
Mhm.
Um, so that would be the ultimate goal. But again, if things don't work out that way, like I said, I am getting my bachelor's degree in psychology, and maybe kind of go that direction. I'll have a couple of options at that point. So
Sure.
one of those two for sure.
Sure, sure. Well, and not only that, what's ironic is, as far as the psychology, that can probably only help you as far as, continuing to work as far as McDonald's is concerned.
Absolutely.
And it's great that McDonald's helps cover the cost of college. And I also put in a plug in here regarding to any young people, please be very strategic about the degree you look to go for, because
Yeah.
there's a lot of degrees you come out, you put a huge amount of debt in, tens of thousands of dollars, and you come out with something that really isn't marketable. In your
Yes.
case, especially when it's getting paid for, you can absolutely apply the psychology to your work with McDonald's. It makes a lot of sense. So I really applaud you on that. Any last second words here, Fong? This has been fantastic.
No, over the years, and this is not necessarily McDonald's related, but you've mentioned it a couple of times. I have become a huge fan of the Dave Ramsey program. This guy is all about
Yes.
not getting into debt,
No.
and all of those things. And the choices I've made over my young adult career, I didn't really know at that point if those were the right moves, but I've learned now that that was the best thing to do. So I guess my advice would be, definitely, if you're looking at post-secondary education, really do the research, look at what you want to get into. Like I said, college may not be for everybody, or at least at the time. Um, there's a lot of smaller schools that might be a little bit more affordable at the time for you. But yeah, so I am in agreement 100% with no debt. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, your journey is your own, and hopefully it's the right one for you. So
Sure, sure. And could you just give us your contact information? And I'm also going to have you text it to me so I can put it up in there, Fong, if anybody wants to speak to you further about the McDonald's opportunity.
yeah, sure. My email address, it's a Gmail email address. It's pdang1984 at gmail.com. And I'd love to, even give my phone number if that's
Yes,
okay.
absolutely. Go ahead.
Um, So that is 717-855-7224. You can certainly text or call. I'd love to be a voice and help anybody out.
Okay, yeah, and if you could also just text those to me, Phong, and I'll make sure it goes into the right up there near the top of the interview where people will see it and be able to reach out to you directly. Okay.
Absolutely. Sounds great.
Great. Thank you, Phong. I appreciate it. And can you hang for just a minute when we get done here?
Absolutely. Thanks so much.
Okay. Thank you, sir.